so because these wars create the conditions of, serve or starve. Like a lot of Iraqis were selling their kids to rich Arabs from the outside because they didn't want them to starve to death from Clinton's sanctions. 500,000 children starved to death, and they were selling their kids into sex slavery because at least they'll get to live.
Yeah, it does all relate.
It is the war. Like it starts with the lie, and then it goes to the war, and then the war create obviously death, destruction, and all that. But it destroys economies, which creates black markets for human trafficking, organ trafficking, mercenary soldiers. All this other shit derives from the wars, as well as the starvation and disease and things that wouldn't exist had there not been a war, or blown up their infrastructure, or blow up their sewage treatment centers like we did in Iraq. But all that starts with the lie. And the lie, whether it's about WMDs or babies on incubators or pre-crimes or gassing your own people, whatever the bullshit is reiterated by mass media. And our entire mass media is Zionist occupied. So of course they're going to lie and get us involved in wars with Israel's enemies in the Middle East. All that shit stops if you just tell the fucking truth. Like without their ability to deceive, the evil has no power for the murder and rape and the rest of it that comes after. You have to strike the root. The truth will set you free, right? Well, tell the truth where? Because it's not going to be on the 3-letter networks. These are billion-dollar industries run by Zionists. That's not going to change. Social media was the only place. And now they're working with the FBI and stuff as we see. Like, Elon needs to keep his promise for general amnesty. And I promise you, if he unbans everybody, just as quickly as we got rid of pedophilia, we could end all this shit in a month. If the truth got out, for even a fucking day, if you had 5 minutes to tell the basic couch potato, Sally soccer mom, Joe Sixpack, what the fuck's going on in the world about Ukraine, about any of these conflicts, just sit down and go, they had a coup in Maidan and just walk through, right? If they would just do that once, we wouldn't have these fucking wars. No, we wouldn't have sanctions starving kids. Show the pictures of the babies in Yemen with the ribs poking out in their little diapers and stuff, their bones just wasting away. That shit would end if people saw it. But it's out of sight, out of mind. They don't cover it. We could if we had free speech. I'd be doing that every day if I have a Twitter. I would find a new picture of babies starving in Yemen and going, this is going on in Yemen. Day whatever. Just keep that number bigger. Still being ignored. Still being ignored. Still being ignored. But that's why I'm not allowed on these things. But I realize you have to show people. You can write about it all day. The problem with people, the disconnect with low IQ people lack imagination. Right. That's why they have no spatial intelligence. So a lot of this is because the way we're raised is TV and Netflix, whatever. They see everything and they're never exercising their imagination. They're not reading a book and imagining the whole thing in their head. It's just given to them from the screen, from their cell phone, from the TV, from whatever. Right. So the sad thing is when you're talking about starvation in Yemen, to use my example, you have to fucking show them kids with their eyes sunk in and the ribs poking out and desperate mothers and stuff. They have to see it. You have to see Palestinians with the legs blown off and stuff. And then it's like, wake up call, motherfucker. Yeah, you're doing that. You're paying for that. Get pissed off about it. Because if they just hear, a bus blew up, 65 people died, it's like the Joker said in Batman, they don't bat an eye. Because they can't see it. Like when you or I hear that, we're like, holy fuck, that's 64 families that are missing children. Like it really hurts. It really sinks in because we have the ability to put ourselves in someone else's shoes. How do you do that? You do that through your imagination. I don't mean creativity. I mean, imagine you're like, okay, what if I was there and a bus blew up and my son was dead? Like it's horrifying. Hits you right there. But people who lack that skill, you have to show them. And like, I'm like, you can write all these articles. Great. It's good talking to each other. But if you really want to affect the masses, show them photographs of what's going on, then write your article. Because that, man, if they knew, I don't think people in America are just immoral and heartless. I think they're ignorant. If they were able to see the shit the media will not let you see, like, man, check this out. What's the one horror you can talk about that you see endless photos and films of? it's considered the most evil thing in the world, right? The thing that happened in World War II. They show you those dilapidated bodies. They show you those pictures, and rightly so. Everyone condemns the Holocaust, as they ought to. But why aren't we seeing that with the 2 million people we killed in Vietnam? Or why don't we see that? We never see the pictures. Some guy took a picture of coffins with American flags draped over it and got fired for just showing the boxes, because there's bodies in there. Right? They don't see what we're doing. A little bit of pictures got leaked out by people like Sy Hersh on Abu Ghraib, the most mild stuff. And guess what happened? The whole world turned against the Iraq War. Everyone agrees the second Iraq War was the worst. Why? Because photos went out of Abu Ghraib.
They saw it.
Look at Iraq War I, just as horrible. Highway of death, starvation. They didn't see the photos because the internet wasn't around in 91. And so everyone supported that. The second war came out, early internet got the photos out, and people opposed Bush's war. And that's why they couldn't get boots on the ground in Syria, because they saw it. So now they decided, hell no, we got to get a hold on social media too. We can't have people sharing pictures of children and stuff of what they're doing. Right? The video the Nazis put out in Ukraine, shooting people to the knees and throwing naked bodies into ditches, they said that was the Russians doing it. No, it wasn't. That was Ukrainian Nazis that we paid for from Azov and Right Sector and others. They're the ones that were doing that. That's why they went back to Bucha, because after Lehman, these people were so stupid. Their cell phone cameras came out. The Russians captured them, got the video footage. Like, look at what they did. Look at what they did. Did they play that on any of the networks? Fuck no. Did they allow it on Twitter? No. There's no way to be on YouTube or Facebook, right? Twitter has to change. And I'm telling you now, man, if we get free speech, it is over for the neocons, for the pedophiles, for this evil, fucking corrupt, demonic cabal, whatever you want to call it. They have no power without deception.
Perception.
Deception. Yeah.
Perception
by deception. Yeah, right. Like, exactly. That's what they do. The father of lies, John 8, right? Like John 8:44, right? They can't tell the truth, for there is no truth in them. And it's always screaming in pain as they beat you. They always accuse others of what they're really doing themselves. You got to hear the Texas speech. I went all in. I'm going to read it to maybe tomorrow.
Amen.
Yeah, it's fucking good. The audio recording was kind of shit, so I'm just going to read the same thing verbatim. But like, this is how low tech I am. I just,
no, you hear me at home, Ryan. That's it, dude. We all feel that, man. And
dude, you stop the lies, you stop it all, and it all starts with media. I'm like, give me my fucking wings. Give me my Twitter back, and we'll fix this. Because if I'm back, means everybody else is back. And like that's why Reed's banned. That's why I'm banned. That's why you're probably gonna get banned or whatever. Like, if the ones that are really a threat to the system are the first to go. And that'd mean there are other people who are still a threat to the system that have gotten through the cracks or whatever. Like, that's all we have left, though. But man, if they brought him back, just imagine if we just had free speech, they wouldn't be able to get away with lying to everybody about every conflict. We can't just rely on like Glenn Greenwald and like the few people out there who are willing to tell you the truth. Like, it ought to be everybody, but they don't let us talk.
Yeah. Well, that's what